What's up, YouTube? Knight's Edge here again. Got another pretty cool review for you. This one was sent to me by none other than Mr. Ed Durbin. You might recognize some of his handiwork in the thumbnail. He takes excellent pictures. I'll use that for the thumbnail. Thank you, Ed, for letting me do that. And also talking to Neeves and let me borrow this really cool knife. This is a Neeves knife. It's the first Neeves knife, if I'm not mistaken. Really appreciate everyone watching. Hey, hit the like button if you like the content. Subscribe if you want more of it. Be pretty cool. I appreciate you guys. This one is one that I've been waiting on for quite a while, man. Like it was lost in the USPS for a while and everything. I did an unboxing video on it, I believe, last week. So I've been carrying it around a little bit around the house, not doing anything crazy with it because I do have to send it back to Neeves. Big thank you to him for letting me check this out. I thought that was really cool. Neeves Knives, if you don't know Neeves Knives, which pretty much I think everyone in the community has heard of Neeves Knives. He does some awesome work, really cool reviews, comparison videos. He's all over the place. He does great sharpening videos, sharpening lives, member lives. Great dude. Definitely subscribe to Neeves Knives if you're not already. If you're subscribed to me, you should most definitely, or probably are already subscribed to his channel. But all that being said, this is the review of the Neeves Knives Misdemeanor. Check that thing out, man. Now this is kind of a prototype. This was the one. This is a pass around one that like I said, Durbin sent me. So it does have a little wear on it, not too much. A little bit of kind of wear on the blade, or on the handle. But this thing is gorgeous, man. Look at that anodization on the screws in contrast with the color of the knife. This is awesome, man. Pretty much gave myself away there if you're just wondering what I think about it. I really like it. So let's go ahead, we'll do the specs first and then we'll get into my final thoughts. Always try to do that. All right, so the Neeves Knives Misdemeanor. Tip of the blade to the end of the handle, you're looking at right at I'd say right at a little over 8 1/8 maybe. Right, 8 1/8. If you go all the way back to the handle where it meets up with the scale right there, you're looking at 3 3/4 overall blade length, but that's going all the way back to where it meets up with the scale. If you're looking at cutting edge, got a really generous choil on there. You're looking right at 3 3/8. So what I would call on this channel anyway, with me, the definition of a full-size knife. Get the calipers out here. Go ahead and do a thickness check on this one. This is one of the many things I like about this one. But check that out. Thickest part of the spine, looking at 99.5, right at 100 thousandths. Just under 100 thousandths. Got a nice grind on it. Goes down to around 19 thousandths. We'll do a handle thickness check on it real quick. Under 1/2 inch, 445 thousandths, right at it. Pretty slicey little guy. All right, so got the measurements, got the calipers, blade stock thickness, and everything done. Let's go ahead and get into some size comparisons. Check this out: Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and your Spyderco Para 3. Now Neeves Knives made this, you can tell that this guy reviews and has handled a ton of knives. Whenever you handle this thing, and when you look at it and everything, it's gorgeous, but whenever you handle it, it's a totally different thing. It's got a lot of little subtleties about it that you can tell someone that has a lot of experience and puts a lot of his preferences into it has made. So if you look at the forward choil, like the PM2, one of the greats of the EDC community, it has a similar, forward choil. Not in every way by any means, but it does have that forward finger choil, lets you get in there for good deep cuts. But look at the cutting edge on this thing, and the PM2, look at it, trying to put it up next to it. The PM2 has a little bit less of a cutting edge on it. So I think he made a really good blade to handle ratio on this thing, even with the forward finger choil in there. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and do two more. A couple more of the usual suspects here. You got your Cold Steel Knives 8010 and your Demco Knives 8020.5. So definitely a little bit shorter than the 8010. Definitely longer than 8020.5. That's the slicer version. And as you can see here, go ahead and do that, but not nearly as thick as the 8010, right? So not a super thin knife, but not thick by any means. Perfect size, I would say. Go ahead and do two more size comparisons. We got a couple other YouTubers knives I got here. This is the new breed EDC Clydesdale with a little anode job done by Mr. Eddie, and that one's done by Loot 10 Techs. And here is another one of my favorite little carries there. That's a Devo Knives Pony Stout. That's the premium one, an S90V with a little bit of an anode job on it itself. All right, go ahead and put size comparisons up. Let's get out, let's see, let's do the scale. Get out the scale here, get a weight on this bad boy. All right, weight of the Misdemeanor, you're looking at right at 4 ounces, which, yep, right at 4 ounces. Titanium handles on it, and 3 3/4 inch overall blade. That is pretty good ratios, I think. A little over the so-called ounce and inch ratio, you know, but not an issue at all to me. I mean, still very, very light and carryable. A lot of that, if you look at it, let's see. This one doesn't have milling really on the inside. I don't know what the final versions will or not, but if you look at it, it's pretty thin there. So let's go ahead and get into the hardware check here. Now, again, this is kind of like a prototype, so the final versions, which are going to be out, if you're looking at this video the time that I'm putting it out, the final versions should be out sometime in November. So this one is a little bit of a prototype. Everything, most of the things are the same the way it looks to me, but there's a couple subtle differences about the ones that are coming out that make it even better. One of which, it's a long-winded way of saying it, is the Neeves knives is going to be moved. The logo, the NK, is going to be moved to the pivot, which I think is pretty cool. So it's going to be a captive pivot. You got T8 on the pivot there, T8 on the body screw, T8 on that body screw, and T8 on the lock bar. So T8 all the way around. That's awesome. And the final versions are going to have that Neeves knife off the blade and onto the pivot. I think that's pretty cool, you know. So I give it an A+ in my book anyway for hardware. I mean, looks, I'm not going to disassemble it. He hasn't given me permission to do that, but it looks like it'd be pretty easy to take apart and put back together. So I think that is all the specs. My overview of it, my overall thoughts. This thing feels nice, man. I really like that, kind of like an eggshell almost. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that, but kind of almost like an eggshell on that titanium. That it feels really nice, whatever it is. Some nice jimping that extends all the way up here. I guess we're getting into aesthetics now, but you know, it is very, very nice. I mean, ergonomics and aesthetics, I guess. If you look at the back spacer, which is also an awesome thing about this knife, I really like the fact that it came with a back spacer, you know, period, but the back spacer's got this little jimping on it. That's pretty cool. Very well rounded, you know. Really nice titanium pocket clip. As a matter of fact, we forgot to do blue jeans. Always do the old blue jeans, take them out, and let's get into the pocket here. So kind of a classic milled titanium pocket clip. It looks really nice. You know, the hardware is hidden. That's another thing that I like about that. Pretty cool. Not deep carry, but I mean, that doesn't really bother me, I mean, that much at all. I mean, you don't have like a whole lot sticking out in the pocket. It really, whenever you're carrying this thing, it kind of disappears into the pocket. It's really really a good knife to carry. All right, so back to my aesthetics. The contouring is really nice. It's a very nice kind of contrast between the hardware and the blacked out coating on the handle. This is K390 on the blade steel. Awesome blade steel. But aesthetic wise, this kind of a Wharncliffe with a little bit of a belly going on there, I guess. All right, a little bit of a belly on it. That is a perfect slicing knife to me. It is super thin, you know. It's getting into ergonomics now, I guess. You know, really ergonomic in hand. It's very comfortable. It fits like a glove, you know. You can choke back on it. I wear a large size glove. I have, I guess, average size hands or dwarf hands, depending on who you ask, I guess. But choke back right here, that's pretty comfortable. But also, to me, choked up on this one's where it's at. I mean, that is locked in, very comfortable. You can also move and do like some kind of pull cuts, draw cuts with that little groove right there. I think that was very well thought out, just like everything else on this knife. So yeah, the jimping up here, jimping back here, all the way on that back spacer. You know, very, very comfortable. Forward finger choil is pretty cool. And as far as deployment goes, you got jimping, which is, you know, the same jimping up here whenever you front flip it. And this is a knife that I absolutely love to front flip. I don't say that about a lot of knives, but front flipping this one is, to me, almost, not that I would say, my preferred means of deployment on this one, which is kind of rare, you know. I guess it's a toss-up between front flipping and doing the Spidey flick, which also works nice with that hole right there, and kind of a fuller parallelogram, I guess, cutout, maybe, I guess you could call that. That works really good. Everything is just really comfortable on this thing. The lock bar, it is a frame lock. The lock bar access on it is really good. Even got some jimping right there, which is crazy, you know. Really cool. I like that. I like the pattern of the jimping right there. Works really good too. You know, that's very aesthetically pleasing, and it also helps out a little bit with comfort, especially because you're going to be flicking this thing like crazy. I mean, this is a flickable knife without a doubt. Definitely a fidgety knife. So multiple means of deployment, comfort, definitely kind of a fidget knife for sure. Let's go ahead and we'll talk about the steel for a second. That's K390 on the prototype, and K390 is going to be the steel on the final versions, which is awesome. The only other K390 that I own is by Spyderco. I've got their K390 version of the Andela, which I absolutely love. Extremely edge retentive steel. You know, you can I anyway can cut and cut and cut with it, and I've sharpened it one time just to put my own angle on it. I'm talking about the Andela, not this one, but yeah, it is very, very edge retentive steel, comparable to 10V. I think 10V is a little as far as edge retention, I think 10V is a little better. Anyway, looking at the Knife Steel Nerds, looking at Laren Thomas's chart, but K390 is pretty far up there with edge retention. It's above Rex 45, which is pretty impressive. So also the DLC coating, being as how K390 is not an extraordinarily corrosive resistant steel. If you get one of the DLC versions, which we'll talk about the different versions in a second here, one of the DLC versions, you'll get that added benefit of it having that protective coating on it. So let's talk about real quick, not trying to sell Neeves knives by any means. I mean, he's definitely it speaks for itself. So Anyway, there's going to be 4 different versions available of it, 100 each. They'll be available sometime in the upcoming weeks. I believe he's saying on his latest Instagram post that he is going to be able to get his shipments in sometime within the next week or so, maybe. So shooting for hopefully November, the way it looks, for a release date, which would be pretty cool. Don't quote me on that. Follow Neeves' website and follow him on Instagram and YouTube to get more information about his drops. The 4 different versions that are going to be available are going to be a shiny DLC all blacked out version, a like satin coated DLC version that looks much like with the green contrast like this one. So I think that might be the one I go for personally. I think this is pretty cool. Also, you'll have a kind of a gray stonewash looking handle with blue hardware, and also a plain Jane version, and I think they'll range in price from $295 to $315. Looking at his Instagram post here that I'm looking at, so for $300, give or take a little bit, depending on what version you get, I think this is an awesome knife. K390 on the steel, which I'm sure Neeves is going to make sure that Riot heat treats it right. Riot on their own heat treat stuff right, and combined with Neeves, I think they've done a bang up job on this knife. This is a definite slicing machine, man. This is overall what I would consider essentially perfect knife. I really can't think of anything I can't think of anything negative to say about it. It's an awesome knife. It's going to go on my most recommended knives playlist, and man, I think that's about it, guys. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. I did my best to review Neeves' super cool knife, the Misdemeanor. I really appreciate you guys watching. Again, appreciate Neeves for letting me hang on to this for a little bit and kind of play around with it. And I really appreciate all my channel members, my Patreons. Again, hit the like button if you like the content. Subscribe if you want more of it, and go check out Neeves, man. If you're not subscribed to Neeves Knives already, logo looks like that a little bit on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to him already, you definitely should be. Another added thing I didn't say anything about during the review, which I don't know why, is the acoustics of this. If you can hear that, it does have that little ting to it. So people that watch the video almost 18 minutes in or all the way through will get that added little bonus observation by me of the ting. That's really cool. I love that ting. I don't know if it's coming through the mic. Not so much on the deployment, but you can definitely hear it whenever the blade is put away, for sure. That's pretty neat. I always like that on the Factor, and the Misdemeanor's kind of got it too, so pretty cool. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Neeves. Thank you, Ed Durbin. Appreciate everybody, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see y'all on the next one.